Spencer Ross with One Step Forward, and I hope you've had a great week. Determination. So I looked it up, Merriam-Webster, got the definition from them. So it breaks it down into three different ones. You got one, and then A and B, and then two and A and B, and three is just got A. So judicial decision setting and ending a controversy. The resolving of a question by argument or reasoning. So sometimes in today's day and age, we see arguing or argument as a bad thing, but my friend went to do his doctorate presentation and he had to present the argument and he had to defend it. So he was giving a presentation on his paper and he had to defend it. So he was arguing in support of what he was thinking. So he made the presentation in an hour. Well, the time limit was an hour. He had a little bit of a break and then he came back and then he had to answer questions for 2 hours. It was a grueling process, but he's obviously very stoked because he passed it and we're all very happy for him and he's a doctor now. So cool. Judicial setting, decision settling, and ending a controversy. So controversy doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It could be, hey, I need to decide whether I'm giving everyone a $5,000 bonus or a $10,000 bonus. And it doesn't necessarily have to meet the law. It just means that you're the one making the decision. So it kind of reflects into that, what I'm going to talk about. But the big one I want to talk about is the number 2. The act of deciding definitely and firmly. Firm or fixed intention to achieve a desired end. I want to read the third one real quick. A fixing or finding of the position, magnitude, value, or character of something. All right. So what's firm? Should have looked it up, but I didn't really think about it at the time. Firm. So the best way I can describe it is like a firm handshake. Okay, so you walk up to someone and they give you a firm handshake. You know that they're holding your hand. How else can we think about it? Maybe a screw attaching a board to a wall, but something simple. I work in elementary school and very often with little kids, mom or dad will hold the kid's hand firmly. That hand isn't going anywhere. Every once in a while, the kid will get away, but for the most part, and then there's some words that, but for the most part, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, uncle, or aunt are firmly holding on to that little kid's hand. I remember that. I remember mom grabbing my hand like, no, mom, I'm old enough. She's like, no, it's dangerous. I'm holding your hand. She was determined to keep me safe. She was determined to hold my hand. Her end result was for me to be safe, right? So the fixing or finding of the position, magnitude, value, or character of something. We're talking about leadership. This is a program about leadership. When you're determined to do something, you're holding on to that goal. So I invited some friends over for dinner, and the last dinner I had was good, but it could have been a little bit better. The food could have been a little bit less dark or burnt. It was still really good, just had to break off some of the burnt part. And I have some very generous friends, but my goal is to build a better relationship with them. So I invited them over. One guy didn't text me back. I didn't get angry. I didn't get frustrated. I saw that he didn't text me back, and I texted him the next day like, hey man, how's it going? Are you able to go to dinner? He's like, oh man, I'm busy. Sorry. Love to come. Cool. Well, I'm already planning on how I can be more effective for dinner. I want them to come over and spend time with them. Yes. But it's also the time is to have food. It's dinner time. So we're going to have some food. So I am determined to build a better relationship, and I am determined to have a good meal. The end result, so firm or fixed intention to achieve a desired end. I want to build a better relationship. Cool, I'm doing that, inviting them into my life. All right. We could have a pool party. We could play cards. We could just sit around a little fire outside, or we could go and have dinner. All right, cool. But I'm measuring my success. How? Well, we talk about it, and sometimes it's hard for good friends or family or coworkers to give critical feedback because sometimes you're nervous about keeping that relationship. But I can measure it myself by watching them, being observant, listening to the flow of conversation, to watching them eating. I don't have to force them to eat, and they're not going to force themselves to eat. They're adults. But if I burn the food, well, then my quality of what I wanted to bring is diminished. And I know I can do better. So I'm determined through planning, some thought process, moving around my day a little bit to have a better result. What are you determined to do? All right, so I talked about a failure. Well, I'm going back and still going. A guy didn't text me back for a dinner that I invited him to. I spent the time to plan it, send the text out, make sure everything's good to go on the first text, and then follow up with a second text. That was gentle. Okay, how can you apply it? Maybe you're trying to work out. Maybe you're trying to not gossip. Maybe you're trying to ask that girl out. Whatever you're trying to do, having a plan is great. Having a positive attitude is good. But now what? Are you still running the race? Are you still trying to go there? If you missed gym yesterday because flat tire, all right, you get frustrated. That's a setback. You missed gym day. Well, what about tomorrow? What about the next day? What about next Sunday? You gonna miss gym day again? Maybe you don't drive on that construction road again looking at houses. Okay, so you asked out, you went for a loan for a house and you didn't make it. Are you gonna quit? If your end result is to buy a house, go buy the house. Figure out a way. Now, sometimes we need to have realistic expectations and make sure that our goals align with what we are. If we're colorblind, it's probably going to be really hard to become an astronaut because you have to take a colorblind test. What are you determined to do? Is it realistic? Are you talking to mentors? I went and celebrated a friend. He graduated from high school. I know his dad, and I've known the kid before technically he was born. I celebrated that. Sometimes small things help determine where we go later in life. Take those little steps, build up that confidence to keep going. If you're trying to be a leader and you're finding of the position or character of something, are you looking at the good and the bad and absorbing the good and getting away from the bad? If you're sitting in the break room and people are gossiping, are you getting along with that gossip? Are you adding things to that gossip? Are you tearing people down to raise yourself up, or to have that funny story about Bobby who came into work late and he got written up? Hey, did you know? Or are you saying, hey, yeah, Bobby's a good worker. Let's talk about something else. Hey, Spencer, how was your weekend? Spencer, stop gossiping. Come on, man. That's not right. You wouldn't want that about you. There's a gentle way to do it, and sometimes we do need to be firmer with things. There's that firmer word again. But what are we trying to achieve? What are we trying to get to? All of this is good, but are we applying it? If we failed for the last 15 years making dumb jokes, are we gonna go Monday and go, hey, no more? Okay, I went the whole day and I said a joke, but one time I didn't. Awesome, take that victory and run with it. The next day, 2 times. Next day, 3 times. Keep building that up, okay? You've had a habit. Change it. Have that determination to go through it. Be firm with yourself. Set realistic expectations. Don't set yourself up for failure, but hold yourself accountable. Have that determination. If you do something wrong, water off a duck's back. Keep going. Don't let failure hold you down. Keep going. Have that determination. Where do you need to be determined more in your life? Where can I be? Spencer Ross with One Step Forward.